So, is the ancient ritual of yagna just a waste? I mean, are you just burning up perfectly good, valuable stuff? It's a pretty provocative question, and that's exactly what our source material dives into. So, let's explore this. And, this is the first thing that probably pops into most people's heads, right? It's the modern, super practical way of looking at it. Why would you burn perfectly good herbs and grains and ghee? I mean, you could just eat that stuff. And what's interesting is the author of our source text knows you're thinking this. They tackle the skepticism right up front, basically saying, yeah, a lot of people think this is just foolish. Okay, but here's the twist. This is where it gets really interesting. The author's defense isn't what you might expect. It's not just about faith or ancient scriptures. Nope. The whole argument pivots to a pretty surprising place, science. The claim here is that there are actual scientific principles happening that most of us are totally missing. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, is it a losing deal? Then we'll dig into the scientific angle the author presents, we'll look at how fire transforms things, its importance all over the world, and we'll wrap up with a pretty cool one-month challenge from the text. Okay, let's jump right in. The scientific perspective. At the heart of this argument is something we can all relate to, air quality. And it's all about purification, and a gas that I'm sure you've heard of, ozone. So the author starts with something we all intuitively get. You know when doctors say, go get some fresh air? There's a reason we flock to the mountains or the countryside. The air just feels different. It feels cleaner, better. And this very simple, universal idea is the starting block for the whole argument. Now, check out this definition of ozone. It's really cool. The source text doesn't talk about O3 or complex chemistry. It describes it as life-giving part of the air. You know that subtle, pleasant smell that refreshes your mind? That's what they're talking about. It's the essence of what makes us feel so good out in nature. And this slide lays out the core claim perfectly. The author is drawing a straight line between two things. On one hand, you have that amazing ozone-rich mountain air, and on the other, the air from a yajna. The argument is that the fire, when you add the right offerings, basically purifies the air and creates that exact same life-giving element. It's a bold claim. All right, so how is this supposed to even work? That brings us to our next big idea, the transformative power of fire. The author has a special term for it, calling it the subtilization of matter. Now, this next part is built on a piece of science you probably remember from school. That classic rule, matter is never created or destroyed, it just changes form. Ring a bell? Well, the author uses this fundamental law of physics as the foundation for what comes next. So here's the theory. When you burn these nutritious offerings, you're not actually destroying them. The fire is just changing them. It's breaking them down into this super fine, almost vaporous form, and once it's in the air like that, we can breathe it in. The idea is that we absorb those benefits directly through our breath, and a whole room of people can be nourished at the same time. And to make this idea really click, the author gives us some great analogies. I mean, think about it. Ground almonds are way easier for your body to process than whole ones, right? Or how liquid medicine seems to work faster than a solid pill. The whole idea is that the finer you make something, the more potent it becomes and the easier it is for our bodies to use. And in this context, yadna is presented as like the ultimate way to do that. Okay, so this whole theory of transformation is pretty compelling, but the author's next point is that this isn't some isolated idea. The argument is that using fire for purification and health is actually a global tradition. It's not just found in India. And here's a really important bridge the author builds between the ancient and the modern. The claim is that this isn't just some old-fashioned wisdom. It's something we still see today. Think about it. When there's a big disease outbreak, one of the first things health officials might do is fumigate the area. They use smoke to purify it. And just look at this list. The argument is that this idea is everywhere. You've got modern medical officers fumigating. You have simple fire stoves in European homes for warmth and clean air. You see fire revered in Parsi and Jewish religions, and even fire worship in places like Scotland and Ireland. The whole point is to show that this isn't a niche concept. It's a deeply human, cross-cultural idea. So what's the mechanism here? How does it actually work? Well, according to this source, it's pretty simple, but also kind of brilliant. The fire kills germs directly, sure, but it also gets rid of the dampness that germs love. And at the same time, it heats up all the stale, contaminated air in a room, which makes it rise. And what happens when that hot air rises? It pulls in fresh, cool, clean air from outside to replace it. It's like a natural air purification cycle. Okay, so this all leads us to the final section, and I think this is the most interesting part.
After all this theory and all these arguments, the author doesn't just say, okay, now believe me. Instead, it shifts from asking for belief to proposing an actual experiment. They call it the 1-month challenge.
And this is so important. It's not about just taking someone's word for it. It's for anyone who's still sitting there thinking, I'm not so sure about all this. The author basically says, great, don't believe me, test it for yourself. It's a genuine call to action. And the experiment itself is super simple. 3 steps. Step 1, take a snapshot. Just make a note of your family's current health status. Step 2, for 1 month, perform the Havan ritual every day. Step 3, at the end of the month, check back in, reevaluate everyone's health, and just see what you find. The author suggests you might notice some surprising benefits. And really, that's what this all comes down to. It leaves us with one last big question to think about. If you set aside what you believe or don't believe for a second, it just asks you to wonder, could there be real modern science, stuff about air quality, chemistry, and health hidden inside this ancient ritual? The source has made its case, but now, the final verdict? Well, that's left up to you.